This changes everything for the Edmonton Oilers, as Mattias Ekholm's extension could mean one particular Oiler on the blue line could be on his way out after this season there. I mean, what a deal that was for Mattias Ekholm, but it could provide a ripple effect there on the Oilers blue line. We will get into that today here on Oilers Digest, as well as previewing tonight's opening night matchup against the Calgary Flames, just the Battle of Alberta, kicking off both the seasons for the Flames and the Oilers. Make sure you stay tuned here to Oilers Digest, as we just hit 4,000 subscribers. So the road to 5,000 begins with you. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, folks, make sure you do so. But with the Oilers, I mean, what a week it's been so far for Stan Bowman and the rest of the Oilers front office there. I mean, some very, very tidy work there. Connor McDavid in Jake Wallman there, 2 years at $12.5 million, and Jake Wallman at a 7x7 there, and Mattias Ekholm. We weren't too sure what was going to happen with Ekholm this season there, but 3 years at $4 million. And alongside that, with Puckpedia, despite Ekholm being 35 years and up, with his current contract structure, it does not qualify as a 35 and up contract for cap purposes. So if Ekholm does retire before the end of that contract there is no salary cap penalty for the Edmonton Oilers. There's only the $2 million signing bonus in the first year of the contract. So again, some very, very tidy work there for Stan Bowman in the Oilers. I mean, we haven't had competent general manager works since forever. I mean, Glenn Sather, and that was way back in the 80s and 90s there. But some great jobs by the Oilers, not just with Ekholm there, but the other two this week. But that leads us to our next, defenseman on the block there. They have Bouchard extended, Darnell Nurse for infinity, what seems to be like. Mattias Ekholm just signed, Wallman signed, Ty Emberson for, 1 year past this one. Troy Stetcher's UFA, but Brett Kulak is the next man up there, and he could be a luxury that the Oilers cannot afford after this year. They're making $2.75 million. I mean, the left side for the Oilers, very, very log jammed, so much so that Jake Wallman, normally on the left side, on the right side next to Darnell Nurse whenever he does come back to the Oilers lineup. But the Oilers, are holding out hope here from TSN's Ryan Rashog. Sounds like there have been some extension discussions with Brett Kulak's camp, but nothing imminent. Will be interesting to see which way he goes with it. The free agent defensive market might be something enticing to explore for him, but his role with Edmonton is important, and he has a chance to win excellent playoff performer and great skater. Absolutely. I mean, Brett Kulak, it sounds like I want to get rid of him, but again, the Oilers, just might not have the space unless he takes a hefty discount. But again, very consistent in the playoffs, more so, a third pair guy, but you can plug him into the top four whenever you need to, when it comes to injury purposes. But with Kulak, again, this could be the final chance for him to get the last big contract of his career there, and making 2.75. He could easily make that 5+ mil on the open market next July 1st there. I mean, the defenseman free agents, everybody always seems to overpay for defensemen in the first week of the season. There you can see Brett Kulak for the third pair, behind guys like Darnell Nurse and Mattias Ekholm there. Jake Wallman obviously injured, but he normally plays the left side, so a little bit of a log jam there for the Oilers on the left side. And I mean, Brett Kulak would be, the fourth best left defenseman there for the Oilers, unless, you can put him on the right side. And, the stats have shown he's not too strong on his off side there on the right side. I mean, they tried Nurse and Kulak many, many times during the playoffs, and even Kulak wasn't as consistent when he's playing on his off side there. And the Oilers, again, the defensive depth chart there. I mean, Bouchard, Ekholm, Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, Emerson, Stetcher, and then you have a guy like Atro Lepinen, who could be a wild card there. We could see how the Oilers see how he performs in the A this year with the Bakersfield Condors, and then make the decision from there. I mean, hockey, it's a business at the end of the day. I mean, it's a business than a sport, and with Brett Kulak, could be asking a little bit too much, despite loving the Oilers market. I mean, he's from Stony Plain, Alberta there, so it could lead to return for Kulak to go back to a place like Calgary or Vancouver there to stay close to home if the Oilers can not match what he is exactly asking for. As I mentioned, 2.75 million, and you compare him to a guy like Cody Ceci making 4.5 and Cody Ceci is significantly worse than Brett Kulak. Sure, Cody Ceci, a right shot defenseman there, but Ken Holland apparently loves, awful defensemen. He could always sign Brett Kulak as well. I'm not saying Brett Kulak is awful, but you always want to see if Ken Holland will try to go back to his Oilers nostalgia there and try to go after Brett Kulak to steady up that Kings defense there. But we will see Brett Kulak in action tonight as the Oilers in Flames, 8 o'clock Mountain there. I mean, what a late start for a Wednesday night, but nonetheless, Oilers hockey is back there, and the Oilers trying to avoid a slow start for the third year in a row. I mean, losing 8-1 to the Vancouver Canucks 2 years ago, losing 6-0 to the Winnipeg Jets 1 year ago. So hopefully the third time is the charm, and they don't, start out flat for the third year in a row. In Kris Knoblauch, being asked, what is the main priority tonight for opening night, saying obviously winning would be the number one priority. Number two, just seeing us have a lot of excitement and a lot of energy coming in. I assume with it being opening night, with all the contracts that we signed and all the new players that we brought in, I don't think that getting ready will be an issue, especially in front of our fans who are more than, hungry to finally see the Oilers pull it off this year. And just taking a look at the lines and the pairings here from Tony Brar of Oilers TV, Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, and Trent Frederick. Andrew Mangiapane, Nugent-Hopkins, and Matt Savoy make up your second line. And the bottom six of Podkolzin, Philip Kapanen, and then Ike Howard, Adam Henrique, and David Thomas second on the back end. As I mentioned, Wallman will miss tonight's game, so it will be regularly in his place next to Darnell Nurse alongside Ekholm in Bouchard, and then Kulak in Ty Emberson make up your defense. And then Stuart Skinner gets the crease tonight against the Calgary Flames. I mean, a remarkable record against the Flames in his career, 5-2 with a 2.06 goals against average and a .939 save percentage. And tonight marks his second career season opening start there, which is, a wild stat, but considering that, he's sort of thrust into the position ever since Jack Campbell failed in the Oilers crease. Hopefully he gets his first career season opening win tonight against the Calgary Flames. Meanwhile, on the other side there with Calgary Flames, not as strong of a roster there. Hopefully, knock on wood, this is a very beatable roster here for the Oilers as Dustin Wolf gets the start there. Then Joel Farabee, Nazem Kadri, and Adam Klapka. The youngster for the Flames, Matt Gridden, with Morgan Frost and Matthew Coronado, Connor Zary, Mikhail Backlund, and Blake Holman, and then Ryan Lomberg, Justin Kirkland, and Igor Sharangovich on the back end, Joel Hanley and Mackenzie Weegar, Kevin Ball, and Rasmus Anderson, who seems to be on in the outs in Calgary there, and then Jake Bean and Braden Pahal. So again, a very beatable roster here for the Edmonton Oilers. But again, this will be, a season with a lot of question marks here. Will Connor McDavid, go back to his 60-goal scoring, form that we saw a couple years back? Will he not be hesitant to shoot the puck? Will Stewart's going to rebound after being, led by the guidance Peter Aubrey, the Oilers' new goalie coach? And will they finally start on time? I think that's the biggest question everybody is asking there, not to mention, all of, the contracts that are looming. I mean, they got a good chunk of them done, but, Brett Kulak in the two goalies there with Stuart Skinner in Calvin Pickard there. So it'll be very, very interesting to watch. I mean, folks, game 1 of 82, it all starts tonight. The parade in June will be, very, very welcome in oil country there. But take care, folks. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy the game tonight. Let's go Oilers. We will be back tomorrow to recap. Take care. I'm Matt.